When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world.
I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching Septum Sin vs. the World. I'm Septum Sin, this is Kotobuki Jake, and we're here to show you what they got. Alright, well, we got a lot of fun stuff. No Gundam again. But let's take a look at what's coming out this coming week.
You've been making up little lies now. I don't know what to believe anymore. I've been tangled up in all the same doubts. Wonder what I'm in this for. You tried to say it's not this way. We can make this change, but I can't stay if you stay the same. Love is not a game. Love shouldn't be a heartache, enemies and mistakes. 'Cause if it's love, find a way to make it, even if it's wasted time. No excuses. No excuses. No excuses.
Alright, well, I'm going to start us off. One thing that's getting continued in Funimation's way of butchering things by splitting a series into two parts and charging like $40 to $50 per part is My Hero Academia Season 3 Part 2. This is the part that I did really like a lot because it features the moving into the dorms, getting used to that, and of course it ends the series with a major fight between the protagonist and his rival, and at the end their relationship changes
Deku
forever.
And Baku, what's his face?
So it's fun. It looks interesting, and it's a good series. So if you haven't checked out My Hero Academia, stream it like I did. No, just kidding. Try and go ahead and get it. Season 1 is out in a full season set, and I think Season 2 is as well. And Season 4 is about to debut this fall, so it's going to be fun.
Good times. Yeah, I really want to see that show. I am still enjoying the manga quite a bit. So yeah, we're going to look here. We're going to look at something fun. This week sees in the long line of new Batman stuff we've been getting lately, we got an 80th anniversary collection. And this is what's on it. Batman Gotham Knight, Batman Year One, Batman Under the Red Hood, Batman Bad Blood, Batman vs. Robin, Son of Batman, Batman The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2, Batman Assault on Arkham, Batman The Killing Joke, Batman and Harley Quinn, Batman Gotham by Gaslight, Batman Ninja, Batman Return of the Caped Crusaders, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Batman Mystery of the Batwoman, Superman Batman Public Enemy, Superman Batman Apocalypse. So, in other words, a very large percentage of the DC animated universe Batman shows. They're missing a couple of the new ones, and inexplicably they're missing a pretty good Mr. Freeze one that I have in my collection.
Yeah.
A couple of the others that have come out over the years. There was a Two-Face one that was one of Adam West's very last roles that's not in the collection. But that's still a pretty damn good set.
If I wasn't missing only about 3 or 4 of those, I know 3, but I can't. I'm trying to think if it was the 4th one, but I know 3 of them because I don't have those Superman, Batman ones.
Right.
And there's at least one more. I mean, if I didn't have pretty much all the other ones, it really is cheaper for me to just get the last remaining ones if I want. But
yeah, that is a cool looking set. If you don't have a lot of them, I've seen a fair number of those, and I can comment on some of them. Mystery of the Batwoman was pretty good. Mask of the Phantasm's widely considered a classic, and I think for good reason. Assault on Arkham really is more of a Suicide Squad one, but it is what the Suicide Squad movie should have been. It is great. Batman and Harley Quinn's pretty good. The Killing Joke is pretty good. They made some dubious changes to the source material, but the source material still includes some of my favorite Joker lines of all time. The one where he said, if I had a choice, if I had a past, it would be multiple choice.
It's pretty darn faithful once it gets into it.
Yeah.
But they wanted to pad the length, so they added a Batwoman story to the beginning.
Batgirl.
But she became a Batwoman.
She did. Girl, you'll be a woman soon, right? They should have played that song.
Which is probably what most people had a complaint about, actually.
Yes. That and the fact that the Killing Joke itself is basically the second half of the movie. The first half has very little to do with it. So, at any rate, good collection. I'll actually consider it. I'll probably on Black Friday, if I can pick it up for $30, I probably will, you know?
So, one thing, I try and collect a little bit of everything in my collection. I'm hoping to one day just go down a list of genres, and that might be a video we could do together. Let's go down the list of anime genres and see what we have to represent it in our collection. And one of the genres that I really haven't gotten into that much is yaoi, because I'm not into the boys love stuff. Which yaoi is basically where the romance is between 2 guys. But there was one that's pretty famous, and that is Gravitation. Now, Gravitation is mostly about the music. It's about this young guy who wants to be a song star, and he comes into contact with this writer, and they eventually form this relationship with one another. Now, I got my copy of this series, which is kind of beat up, but it's alright because I got it pretty cheap. This was a Right Stuff release. So, of course, there's your couple right there. But it really has some really good music to it. The story is pretty good, and the romance, I've seen a couple other yaoi type things, and it feels about as good as most Yuri type things, as in there's really no depth to any relationship. It's just like, okay, they're there just because of the fantasizing that the people are going to do. This one, these feel like real people, so if you haven't checked it out, it is worth checking out. Even if you aren't into yaoi, it's worth a watch. It really is.
Good deal.
Alright.
So, I'll have an anime I'm going to talk about. Interviews with Monster Girls. I'm going to be honest, I know very little about this. From what I've seen, it looks like Monster Musume Light.
Speaking of...
It got decent buzz when it came out, and it looks fun. It's on my radar.
So, Well, going from something with what might not be very deep content to something that has incredibly deep content, maybe too deep a content, we
You
have
could say a galaxy's worth, right?
Tatami Galaxy, and that is, of course, by the creator of Life is Short, Walk On Girl, Lou Over the Wall, and others, but it has the advantage of being in the same world as Night is Short, Walk On Girl. So I had to get it. It was previously on release, so I have this cool European edition. And, you know, it is pretty cool. I mean, you've got your Blu-ray, you got your postcards, and you got your art book.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pretty awesome edition. But now most Americans can get their awesome edition and not require a region-free player like I did.
Well, if I recall, this is going to be a pretty bare bones edition, isn't it?
Yeah, but still.
Is it a
at least
Discotheque? Or is
I
it?
can't remember who's releasing it.
I feel like it was Discotheque. It might be Knows Me.
But it's kind of cool to see it getting a release.
Yeah.
And it's about a guy who's really lost in the world. He keeps trying things and he keeps messing up. He wants this perfect woman. And things get really strange really fast. I need to find out if there's an English track. I might be willing to get it again if it has an English track, because this is a hard one. If you don't know Japanese fluently, you're going to be sitting here trying to keep up with the subtitles for the entirety of it.
All right.
But still a fun series.
Sounds fun. So next up, speaking of fun series I really want to get into, and I really want to get into Tatami Galaxy. But another one I really want to get into is a recent anthology series that's been very popular here, True Detective. And True Detective is getting a Season 3 release this week. Being an anthology series, it has a new cast each season. This season is headed up by Mahershala Ali, who has been just really, really tearing up the scene lately. He, of all the controversy, and there was some, of our Best Picture winner, Green Book, I don't think anyone debated that Ali deserved the acting praise that he got.
Yeah.
And he was also pretty darn good in a lot of recent stuff, including even his stock villain role in Battle Angel Alita was still pretty cool. I want to see how he does this. You've also got a supporting cast including Carmen Ejogo, Stephen Dorff, Scoot McNairy, Ray Fisher, one of Meryl Streep's kids, Mamie Gummer's in there. So you got a lot of fun people in the cast, and I know Season 1 was the one that got the most praise by far, but I think I heard 3 was an improvement over 2, because people generally thought 2 was like a step down. So, but again, looks like a series worth checking out.
Season 1 was good.
Yeah.
So the next one is a classic. And it's a pretty cool set, which is Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Is getting another release on Blu-ray, which is pretty awesome.
I want the set.
That is a pretty cool set. Now, I got this really cheap. I got this for like under 20. And this is the Mystery Machine. That you can see on the back. It does have all 41 episodes. And I think the other one has a few more things on it, but this is just too cool a set for me to do it. Scooby-Doo was my youth growing up.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't really part with this. Who knows? I might not even open this. No, I will eventually because I want to see it. But I don't think I have to tell you what it's about. There's also some bad movies. Don't watch those.
Hey, those movies are really popular with the kids in the library. They love them some Scooby-Doo movies. Or are you talking about the live-action ones?
I'm talking the live action.
Oh, yeah, forget those. Even though they starred Linda Cardellini, who's generally pretty awesome, yeah, they were not that. And I will say Matthew Lillard did do a spot-on Shaggy voice. He did do a good job there, which I know he tore his throat up to do that. But I want to. This might be worth worth looking into because I need to have that. And if
It's a
nothing
cool
else,
looking set.
it has one of the most iconic theme songs of any TV show ever. But anyway, another classic, which is actually getting a release this week in Funimation's Classics line. He has a previous Funimation release, which I will show you. This is Wolf's Rain. I actually have the initial 2-part DVD release from Bandai, so
You got
I
the
might,
expensive one.
I know, I might actually hold on to that for a while, but I don't know, it might be one that's worth looking at the Blu-ray, because it's probably a lot prettier. But this is a, I've never seen it, but I've heard a lot about it. I've heard it's a really good show. I've heard, from what I've heard, it probably does deserve the Classics designation, and that might give it a slightly better price point than this edition. But this one's been around, what, a couple years now, so maybe this will be... but definitely check it out if you get a chance to, and this will be a good opportunity to get a officially designated classic version.
Speaking of, Yu Yu Hakusho is getting Steelbook releases, starting with Season 1. Now, I have the plain old DVD release. There it is for you. But it's the first 28 episodes. It's a classic shonen anime. I've read the manga. That guy gets killed, and then he has to become a spiritual detective, then it becomes some sort of... It's really, really kind of neat, the first couple of seasons. And then it goes into this kind of shonen-y, tournament-y type stuff, as I guess all shonens eventually get to. So, still, worth checking out. If you don't have it, get it on Steelbook. It'll look cool.
Good times. I need to see more Yu Yu Hakusho. I've seen the movie.
I've seen Poltergeist Report too. That's all I've seen either.
But at any rate, our last one, the last one this week, we see the big movie this year that featured Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson, and no, not that movie. The folks that brought us Thor and Valkyrie came together in a very, very, very different pairing that nobody went to go see, which was called Men in Black International. I, for one, thought the idea of the two of them taking over the K and... what's the other role? Jay?
Yeah, it's...
I thought it was a fun idea. I enjoyed the early Men in Black movies.
Yeah.
I'll give it a go eventually. I wasn't going to go see it in theaters myself.
I'm one of the few people who liked the second one.
I didn't mind it.
I liked the pug.
Of course. But again, I do believe both Hemsworth and Thompson are both very gifted actors. They have great chemistry together. They were perfect together in Thor Ragnarok. So I think they could be an interesting pairing for this. I have not gotten to it, but it's on the list. All right.
Well, yeah, that's one of those that kind of suffered from Ghostbusters 2016 syndrome.
Although Hemsworth was the best thing about that film.
For all I know, he's the best thing about this film. But at the same time, I was curious. I felt like they were thinking it was going to be a bigger hit than it was.
Well,
Instead of talking about, it's like, yeah, once we get forward, we're not going to call it Men in Black anymore. We're going to be all-inclusive. We're going to call it People in Black or something like that. And,
okay.
Yeah, it was... I think they were just getting ahead of themselves, thinking they were really going to be in the franchise, but...
there have been a lot of films this year where they thought that they were going to do a lot better than they ended up doing.
And now for something completely different.
Indeed.
And that's all we got for you this time. So, of course, like us, if you got a thumbs up for us, subscribe, and let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below.
Indeed.
And we will see you on the next one.